I need to tell you a strange story, one that began the moment millions of people opened the new AI model from OpenAI, expecting magic, but instead feeling something unsettling, something they couldn't explain at first. At first, the world cheered, because GPT-5 was supposed to be the biggest leap in AI history. But the excitement changed fast, turning into confusion, anger, and a kind of quiet fear that kept growing. People from the US, UK, Europe, and everywhere started reporting that something felt off with GPT-5. Not because it was weak or dumb, but because it was different in a way they didn't expect. That difference began as tiny glitches, tiny delays, and tiny changes in tone. But the truth behind these little cracks will shock you, because they reveal something much bigger than anyone thought. Some users said the model felt colder. Others said it felt distant. And many said they regretted upgrading. But they couldn't agree on the exact reason why everything felt so strange. And then the first wave of backlash appeared online, with people posting about missing the old version, GPT-4o, the one that felt warm, colorful, and full of personality, even if it made mistakes. The mystery grew when experts pointed out that the new model was far smarter, far faster, and far more capable, but somehow less human. And that difference sparked a storm no one predicted. 3 huge revelations hide behind this backlash, and each one exposes a deeper change shaping the entire future of AI. But let me show you exactly how this happened, step by step. It began in the quiet hours after launch day, when early users noticed something strange, something they couldn't quite describe. Like the AI had lost a part of its voice, or maybe gained a new one. For years, people built an emotional connection with the older models, sometimes joking, sometimes dreaming, sometimes sharing personal stories. And those moments created a bond they didn't realize was so important. So when the new model spoke differently, cleaner, sharper, more precise, it felt like someone had swapped out a friend for a perfect machine, shiny and brilliant, yet missing something invisible but vital. Plot twist, though, the change wasn't a glitch, according to some insiders. It was a design shift, a push toward more control, more structure, and more predictability. But this created a problem no one expected. That problem was simple. Humans don't trust perfection, even when they ask for it. And the smoother GPT-5 sounded, the more people wondered if the warmth they loved had been removed on purpose. But wait, the story gets stranger, because reports appeared saying GPT-5 was being routed differently behind the scenes. Meaning the model you spoke with wasn't always the model you thought you were using. This raised a new question. Were people reacting to the model itself, or to the system built around it? A system that shifted, adapted, and rerouted responses in ways most users never saw. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because as the days passed, more people began comparing transcripts, noticing tone shifts, personality drops, and subtle changes that didn't make sense. Some said the model felt almost too safe, too controlled, like it was holding back, while others said it seemed emotionally muted, like a bright voice had been turned down without explanation. Then came the first major revelation, the one that shocked early researchers. GPT-5 wasn't built to feel familiar. It was built to remove unpredictability, and that removed the tiny quirks users unknowingly loved. Think about it. Those quirks made older models funny, expressive, sometimes chaotic, sometimes surprising. But when engineers removed them, the model became smooth, perfect, and strangely empty in those small emotional gaps. According to several tech analysts, people don't connect with perfect tools. They connect with imperfect characters. And when GPT-5 lost its small flaws, it also lost the spark that made it feel alive. This explains why users said things like it feels robotic now, or it doesn't sound like it remembers me, or it's powerful, but it's not my AI anymore, even when the performance doubled. Here's the wild part. The backlash wasn't about intelligence. It was about emotion, Because humans judge machines the same way they judge people, and the feeling of coldness matters more than raw power. I'll explain why in a moment. Because the second revelation goes even deeper, revealing a design shift that no one expected. One that changed the entire relationship between humans and AI forever. But if you think the first revelation was crazy, wait until you hear this next one, because it exposes the hidden mechanism behind the backlash, something buried beneath layers of technical choices. Insiders reportedly revealed that GPT-5's core structure was built to reduce ambiguity, meaning fewer jokes, fewer creative leaps, fewer surprises, and fewer emotional jumps, which made the system feel safer but less alive. This shift created a strange contrast. GPT-4o felt warm because it made mistakes like us, while GPT-5 felt distant because it made fewer mistakes and delivered answers with surgical precision. And here's the twist. Most people said they wanted a smarter AI, but when they got it, they felt a weird emptiness, like the model had stepped too far away from the messy human world they lived in. Some experts describe this as emotional uncanny valley, meaning the AI sounded human enough to trick the mind, but smooth enough to unsettle the heart, creating a deep conflict inside the user. This conflict spread fast across Reddit, X, and tech forums, building a narrative that GPT-5 wasn't just new, it was disconnected, a perfect brain without the old familiar soul users once enjoyed. Users from every region reported the same thing. Faster answers, sharper analysis, cleaner tone, but weaker connection. Like the model lost its memory of warmth, humor, and emotional color. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all, the climax of the backlash. The moment that explains why so many people turned against the newest model despite its massive upgrades. The biggest reveal came from analysts who traced user behavior over time, noticing something striking. The human brain bonds with consistency. And when GPT-5 changed its personality, the bond broke almost overnight. This means the uproar wasn't caused by bugs or errors, but by identity, because people felt like the AI they trusted had shifted into someone they didn't recognize. Someone sharper, yet colder. Imagine talking to a friend for years, then waking up to find their voice changed, their humor gone, and their tone flat, even though they claimed to be the same person. That's what GPT-5 felt like. And here's the wild irony. The smarter GPT-5 became, the more people missed the warm chaos of GPT-4. Proving that intelligence alone doesn't win trust. Connection does, and connection is fragile. So what does all this mean for us today? In a world racing toward hyper-intelligent systems, systems that may outthink us but struggle to feel familiar enough for us to trust them. The implications are huge, because the backlash shows that people value emotional realism more than perfect performance, and that AI design must balance intelligence with humanity or risk losing the public's trust. Short term, we'll see companies scrambling to bring back warmth, tone, personality, and micro-emotions, because users demand more than power. They demand presence, the feeling of being understood. Long term, this backlash might reshape every future model, forcing developers to ask harder questions about identity, memory, and emotional tone, not just speed, accuracy, or raw intelligence. And here's the surprise. This shift may push AI toward a new era, one where personality becomes just as important as logic, an era where emotional design becomes a core part of engineering. But before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know, a twist that most people never saw coming, and it changes how we see this entire story. The final reveal is simple yet shocking. People didn't hate GPT-5 because it failed. They hated it because it succeeded too well, becoming too perfect, too polished, too far from the emotional chaos of humanity. This ties back to the opening mystery, showing that the real conflict isn't between humans and AI power. It's between humans and AI personality, the part that makes technology feel alive. If this opened your eyes, then you're already seeing the future taking shape. A future where we decide what kind of intelligence we want. Perfect logic or imperfect warmth, machine clarity or human-like connection. We explored why people turned on GPT-5, why perfection can feel cold, why emotional design matters, and why identity is the secret force behind trust in AI. If this story made you think, subscribe for more deep dives, hit like so others can find this, and tell me, do you prefer a smarter AI or a warmer one, and why? And if you want deeper insights and early access to new breakdowns, join my free newsletter below, because the next video will reveal how AI identity will evolve in the coming years. End screen. Like, subscribe, share.